What word do we have this morning?
In relation to what you're talking about this morning, I think my word would be control.
Hmm. Thank you.
So my word is discernment. And I think what I mean by that is awareness of where something ends and where the next thing begins.
And I'm going to open it with willingness.
Mm.
A willingness in this sense of willingness to maybe, could be, there's a slight chance I could be wrong.
Mm. Mm.
In a noticing the addiction to being right.
Mm.
Control, discernment, willingness.
My word is allow.
Mm.
Just allowing, I'm allowing a process, I'm allowing the shifts to happen. I'm allowing myself to see my dysfunction, I'm just allowing.
Mm.
I'm allowing just the energy to move through my body. I started December, a Kundalini awakening. I've really been feeling it, like tingling at the base of my spine and like this heat feeling. And I've been feeling this energy like moving up my spine, and I felt it going in my heart yesterday, and it just felt like electric shooting up my spine. And I've been getting a lot of stuff coming up to look at. I've really been seeing myself and been getting quite a lot of physical pain, like my foot's hurting today for really randomly. Too fake, but I know it's the energy moving throughout my body, the blockages, so I'm just allowing it. Allowing a transformation. So yeah, allow.
There's so much power in that space, Ian. I just honor what it takes to be in the allowing.
Like 2 days ago, and I know this is my ego, it's like this feeling of like I'm dying inside and I don't know who I am anymore, and this feeling of like I'm dying and like I want to rip my skin off, when I just fell to my knees and said I surrender, and I just fell to my knees and just the stuff I used to like, I'm not really interested in anymore. Yeah, so I'm just allowing, surrendering, allowing.
And
So yeah,
that is how addictions are released. Thanks, Ian. We're done. I think, as we said earlier, that's how simple it is.
Mm.
You got to see it, right? So name it. So, like, if it is, uh, like, so let's start with the word addiction. Like, we have a certain way that that word can be.
Mm.
And that is the meaning, the definition that we've attached to it. Usually it's a negative orientation to it, and so we won't see ours.
Mm.
That's the hardest one to see is ours, but we can easily see it in others. So the discernment, then, maybe, Allison, what would never, sorry, so I will speak to the willingness of that. So it's the willingness to look into and be like, and to see it differently,
Mm.
to expose the blind spots because there's many of them.
Mm-hmm.
When the willingness to just open the door a moment, a crack. What am I attaching to? How am I attaching to it? Do I, my willingness was in, oh, look at my fight to be right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I would throw into our blend this morning. How would you take your word and expand this title?
And the title be?
Addicted to being right.
Okay. So then,
But I've got, sorry.
no, you go ahead, Ian. Thank you.
Oh, you know, it's okay, Alison. Sorry.
Are you sure?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, so with discernment and the addiction of being right is to be able to it's to have the willingness to see when what I've got can be worked and when what I've got is building a barrier. Either within myself, between different parts of myself, or between me and the other. So we need the energy of willingness to be able to exercise what I think is a skill of discernment. And discernment is aware. Right? It's a form of being aware. to be able, sorry, Tess,
Continue, sorry.
to be able to see and feel and hear when we are going for safety as opposed to exploration. And granted, we need a certain level of safety to be able to explore effectively. But it's which one is dominant, or is there a dominance between the two?
Ooh, good. Discerning the dominance.
Mm.
What about that dominance, a willingness, a discernment between the dominance and I'll go to E, and it's like surrendering. And then there's a version of I'm controlling the dominance. So, ooh, look at this little puzzle we're putting together. Two remaining pieces are allowing and controlling.
Mm.
Interesting, huh?
Mm. Mm. I
We are
often
just,
think, I'm sorry, Tess.
we're just conducting.
Yes. I often think of discernment also just as unpacking, right? If the radio doesn't work anymore, you open it up at the back and you take all the bits out, clean them, notice where the connections have been broken, reconnect those connections, and then put it all back. And there you have your radio working again.
And addiction can be a strong word, so you can replace it with the habit of being right.
Yes.
There's a softer, so I'm looking at the energetic signals, right? Reading the energetic signals is like, oh, willingness. There is no willingness for someone to see addiction. Fine, look at habit.
Mm-hmm.
What
Mm-hmm.
habit is dominating?
Mm-hmm.
That falls in the camp of control. And where we really want to be is in the camp of allow.
Yeah.
So a willingness and a discernment between them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Conducting space.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you other two geniuses, I'm ready.
Well, when you were talking about control earlier, are you trying to control the narrative of somebody else or your narrative?
Ooh, that takes some discernment between the two.
Mm.
How did you mean control?
I think control the narrative.
Hmm.
Mm.
But I'm finding that you can't when other people are concerned and they choose to make up stories about you, whether they're true or not.
They're controlling their story. You know?
Yeah. And they are controlling your story too whenever they're talking about it to other people.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it gives people an opportunity to look at you with colored glasses, so to speak.
Mhm. And it's like, what's the core like reasoning? Like, what could we see as like the core reason for that domination?
Go, no, guys, but thank you.
Oh
Much
man,
love.
Thank
thanks,
you,
Ian.
Ian.
Thanks for
Have a
contributing
great
to
day.
allow. Well, and so when we or we see others controlling the narrative, controlling the stories, like how how could it appear? Or why might they do it that way? Why might that be a habit? I would tend to say to have things go their way, fall in their favor, have people see them a certain way. Quote, get on their side or my side, right? We all want that.
And so then the question is, why is that needed? Why is that so essential?
And that, I believe, becomes the core of control.
Yeah, and I mean, at its essence, for me, it's the lack of an experience of safety, of safe enough. Because control belongs to the ego. That's an ego dominating essence. And safety is a tricky thing when you are working with people that have been primed to experience being unsafe.
Little puppy, don't you cry. Come here, come here. Come here. Oh, poor baby. Poor little girl. You wanna go outside? You wanna go outside?
And I think the safety, if we go to the essence of humanity, like the safety is that we belong to a group, we belong to one another. And so there's always that fear, right, of not belonging, not
Yeah.
being a part of, being excluded. So, yes, that is the core essence of that control and dominating, of being right.
Yeah. And it's so that, and that belonging also is very much connected to being good enough, right?
Mm-hmm. Worthy, safe, like all of it, and then like the discernment to say, well, is that really the truth?
Yes.
The habits don't allow you to see it as the truth; they just assume it's the truth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where the allow, or as even Ian said, surrender.
Yeah.
So a willingness to surrender the control. That's why it's not easy. Who wants to surrender? So what happens? What's the first thing you think of when you surrender? That's your habit. Whatever word's there, that's the habit. That's the discernment. And many people think if they surrender, they lose, they give it away, they give up everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, surrender is just is opening the space for allowing,
That's right.
not losing.
Yeah.
Because you can grip tighter and tighter to more control and have less of it.
Yeah. Yeah. I often think that life really is a series of paradoxes and ironies. It's not only that, but that's very prevalent.
It is. I think and you could say life is just full of addictions.
But the essence of it is different.
Hmm.
And that's the trick, is to get to that essence. Because the energy of the essence is
So it's like, can you control the essence?
no,
Hmm.
but you can allow a co-creation, a co-collaboration, well, collaboration. That and there's another opposite to control is collaboration.
Because it gives the sense of belonging.
Yes, exactly.
So it allows for the belonging, which usually is at the core of it.
Yeah. I think so.
And so it's like and so it's like, though, that's the fight to be right, is so that if we're wrong, right, we get the wrong answer, right, then that's bad.
Mm-hmm.
That's the orientation to the world,
Mm-hmm.
but it's
And
not.
yeah, it's bad and it's unsafe.
Mhm.
Oh God.
Surrender, right, the need to be right. Surrender the fight to be right. Surrender the fight.
Mm.
Because does fighting allow us to belong?
Not in my perception, no. I don't think. Although, if you if you go back to let me put it this way, so if you've got enough external validation for your rightness, then you've got a sense of belonging. And then you are really going to struggle to surrender. Oh, for me, that's what happens with fundamentalism, right? The whole thing about crowd behavior, what it can turn out to be in a negative way, and it can also turn out to be positive.
Enjoyed our exploration this morning.
Yes, thank you, Jess.
Thank you. Thanks, Allison, Mona, Ian.
Thank you, Mona. Have a great day, guys.
You too. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.